Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So thank you guys all for coming tonight. We have Kathryn Cowen. She is our special guest, and I'm so excited to hear her present. We are in a success pod together. And what that basically is it's a group of coaches who we met at a leadership retreat, a mermaid camp called Mermaid Camp. And we just decided to form this group, and we have a little message thread going. And it's me and her and two other coaches, and we just sort of bounce things around all day long. Or if one of us finds a resource, we share it. Or if we have a question, we share it. Or if we are having a bad day, we might take something. So it's just really awesome. And I recommend trying to get into a group like that if you possibly can, because it has been amazing for me. And I know all the ladies in the group, it's been just a great blessing for us. So anyways, Kathryn is a 2-star diamond qualifying coach. She's a team leader. She is a mom. She is a wife. She is super, super busy. She's a Success Club All-Star. And so she's working her business. She's a busy, busy mom. She's got a lot on her plate, but she makes time for her business every single day. And I love being able to work with her. So I'm just going to mute myself and let you take the reins, Kathryn.
Oh, that was such a sweet introduction. Thank you so much, Laura. And I have to just tell you all that you have an incredible leader. Laura is constantly sharing awesome, awesome value in our Success Pod. I'm so thankful for her and to her. So I'm just going to get started right away because I don't want to, take 100 years because I have a tendency to do that. Can everybody see my slides? Just give me like a thumbs up. Okay, sweet. Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about basically being you on social media and why that's your best asset, because I know that for me, attracting my following has been the most important thing in my business, finding those people who can relate to me. And there are a lot of things that I love about this business, but I think my favorite part is that this opportunity is completely unique in that every coach does their business differently. Every coach uses their own story, their own style, your vision. I love that as a coach, you're going to be most successful when you're fully you. You don't have to be anyone else. Your quirks, your journey, the things that you feel like are super dorky that you don't even like to admit to people, those are the things that are going to draw people to you. Those are the things that are going to make you successful. So embrace that. Embrace your story. This is your business. You put your thumbprint on it. So in order to be a successful coach, you obviously have to own who you are and be proud of who you are, because our goal in this business is to seek out people who we can relate to, people who are like us. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to work with somebody and it just wasn't working. And that's because for the longest time, I was trying to attract everybody. I was trying to attract, the entire world of Facebook, rather than trying to find the people who are going to jive with who I am. And that just was not working out. I wasn't the best fit for that people, but you know what? You are the best fit for a bunch of awesome people out there. And if you're trying to be like another coach, if you're emulating and recreating them, you're going to reach their target market. You're not going to reach your target market, and your people need you. It's so valuable to be different. There are thousands of cookie cutter Beachbody coaches out there. They're trying to recreate Melanie Mitro, right? Or Laura Bazell, because she's awesome. But if you have not mastered your story and who you are, you're doing yourself such a disservice. So I'm really excited to share about what we do as coaches on social media tonight, because it's so simple. And yet if we fly by the seat of our pants and just post whatever, whenever, that's just not going to work, because social media is the biggest asset in our business. Like, obviously there are hundreds of thousands of people on Facebook and on Instagram and on LinkedIn, all over the place. Being us in person is important too. Like, we don't stop being coaches when we turn off our social media. This is a lifestyle. But our social media is how we show people who we are as a person. And that's important, because when you give people that sneak peek into your life and into who you are and into who you stand for, you are literally earning the right to ask for people's business. You're earning their trust as you go. You're giving them something of value on a daily basis. You're showing them, look, I'm trustworthy. I'm going to show up for you. You can trust me. And that's huge, because when people are giving you something as vulnerable as their weight loss journey, that is a huge deal. When people are trusting you with something that they don't even like to admit is a problem, that is huge. So you have to earn people's trust, and a huge part of that is consistency. And I think the very, very most important part in building people's trust is being credible. So first and foremost, you have to be consistent with your own wellness. And I know we hear this over and over, but I just want to touch on it. Because if you share that you're super excited to be starting a program, and then like 2 weeks later, you're doing a different program, and 2 weeks later, you're doing a different program, and then, you've fallen off the wagon and you're sharing about that. Like, it's okay to fall off the wagon once in a while. We're humans. We're still humans, but that should be rare. We have to be the example. Nobody is going to trust us if we're not sharing our journey consistently, if we're not choosing a program and sticking with it. Our job is to show people that these programs are, our job is to show people, it's okay, that these programs are doable and that you can start it and complete it and get results. Think about how many people start programs and give up 2 weeks later. We need to show them that there's a better way. And in the same way, if you share that you're hosting a challenge group on the 5th of the month, and then you never talk about it again, like, people are going to think that you changed your mind. I don't even know how many times my customers have told me, like, man, I was on the fence and I was feeling really, really bad about myself. And then your post popped up in my newsfeed and I knew, like, okay, it's time to do it. But imagine if I would have cheated them out of that by not posting my challenge group invite. I would have literally been cheating them out of starting their journey because I was too much of a wimp to be brave and post about it, right? Our consistency is so huge in this business. So start programs and finish them. Be consistent with your nutrition. Drink your Shakeology. Invite to your challenge groups. Share 3 to 5 times a day on your social media. Share your personal development. People want to see how you're growing as a person. So that is, being credible. Next, really super quick, I want to talk about just finding your platform, because I've had people try Facebook and just fail. And then they go to Instagram and their business explodes. So you have to figure out how you're best at expressing yourself. If you're more of a storyteller, which we all have to become storytellers no matter what the medium, but if you're really, really good at, telling your story, Facebook's great because it's like a blog. You're giving people a sneak peek into your life. But if you're better at creating really beautiful pictures and images, maybe Instagram's better. If you're really great at writing, a blog could be good. But whatever you do, don't try to tackle everything at once. Go to that successful person on Instagram if you want to be successful on Instagram. Chalene Johnson's a great one for this. Melanie Mitro is awesome for Facebook. I think there are a ton of good coaches to emulate for Facebook. But study what they do and, take note of the posts that are really powerful and move you, and then recreate those. There's nothing new under the sun, right? We're gonna take somebody's idea somehow, someday. But obviously never plagiarize. It's okay to use somebody else's idea, but we never, ever plagiarize. So become an expert in your platform, okay? Now, this is the big part of this call, okay? One of the hardest things for me in the beginning of my life, I had a hard time connecting with people. As I said, I was trying to connect with everyone rather than trying to connect with my people. So if this is you, you have to learn that, because your story is who you are. And people can't resist a good story, right? I love to read. So I get into trouble with my business sometimes because I'll get an audiobook that's not personal development and I'll get trapped in it. And I have to listen because there were that cliffhanger at the last chapter, and I have to know what to find out what's going to happen next, right? Office, although the Office isn't really like this, but so how many times something epic happens and then boom, the episode's over, and like, oh my gosh, I have to wait a whole week. I need to know what happened. How are they going to do that to me? That's because humans can't resist a good story, right? That's exactly what we want our Facebook page to become. Obviously, minus the violence and the zombies, right? And the mistake that a lot of Beachbody coaches make is rather than telling their story, persuading with facts, okay? They try to persuade people times at the beginning of my business, and thank God I just like pushed through it, because you guys, I made every single mistake, and thank God I pushed through it, because I don't know how many times someone came to me and said, oh, well, I don't need Shakeology. I use my protein powder that I got at Walmart, or I use Plexus, thanks, or I count calories, thanks. And I just word vomited all over them, trying to persuade them that Shakeology is not a protein shake, or that the portion fix is so much better than counting calories, or that having to drag yourself to the gym. And I can tell you that almost zero of those people that I tried to convince and persuade ended up starting their lifestyle change, okay? That's because as humans, we don't want to be persuaded. When we try to give people facts, we're convincing them, we're trying to sell them, but we naturally resist persuasion as humans. However, if we offer a storyline, if we show them our day-to-day, the way that our life is playing out, they begin to see themselves in our story. They begin to position themselves in what we're sharing. And this results in them naturally wanting to take the next steps to do what we are doing, right? Okay, so tonight I'm going to share with you how to use the art of story, okay? So this is something that I learned from businessofstory.com. You can also go to buildingastorybrand.com for more on this. I just want to give credit where it's due. I did not come up with all of this on my own, but you guys study the art of story, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more of it. Okay, so stories, you guys. There's persuasion over here. We don't want to persuade people. We want to tell our story, because stories move people to action. So I want to challenge you with something. If you pulled up your social media page, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or whatever the case may be, what's the last post you did that truly told your story? And I'm talking something beyond the motivational quote, okay? Something beyond your Shakeology selfie, beyond your workout video, beyond your 21-day fix recipe. I'm talking something that people can connect with, something that maybe is even a little bit scary to you, something that you're uncomfortable with, something that might be a little messy or you might be a little embarrassed about. These are the posts that are going to move people to action. These are the posts that help them to feel like they know you. It's going to help them to see themselves in your shoes and to show them that they can do what you're doing too. Because I know a lot of people tell me, I could never do what you did. I could never, be active throughout an entire pregnancy and then, have abs. Guys, I have abs for the first time in my life. And people tell me, no, I could never do that. But through telling my story and sharing bit by bit, they're going to see themselves in me and they're going to know that they can do it. Oops. Okay. Okay. So here are the elements that you can use for your meaningful posts. Okay. And there's nothing wrong. Not every post has to be super involved, but it's very important to create meaningful posts every single week, okay, and several of them. So the three elements are the character. Talk about the character for a little bit here, because this is super important. The character is who you're talking to. This is your ideal customer. This is the former you. This is who you were before you decided to make a positive change. And by the way, I encourage you to take notes if you're not taking notes. So first, to identify the character of your story, you have to think back to where you've been and what you've overcome, okay? Your tribe, your team, those people are going to be people who can relate to where you've been and who can say, you know what? I was exactly in those same shoes. And I can completely relate to that, because you can't help everyone as much as you like, but there is a specific group of people who you are literally the best person for. You are their coach right now. They don't know it, but you're their coach, and you just have to show them what that looks like. So think about who you were before you decided to become a coach. Think about the emotions that you were feeling before you started this journey, the major life events that you've overcome in the past. Think of those emotions that you felt, okay? So on your paper, if you're taking notes, I want you to list out 3 of your top experiences that come to mind when you think about where you were before Beachbody. And then next to those, I want you to think about the emotions associated with those, okay? So for me, before I started Beachbody, I was first of all super unhappy with my body. I have gastroesophageal reflux disease, and that causes, first of all, my weight to fluctuate like crazy. It causes people who have gastroesophageal reflux disease usually have depression and anxiety. So I was struggling with those. I was depressed just because, I didn't feel good. I was depressed because I couldn't eat solid food for weeks at a time. I was depressed because I hated my body. I felt completely out of control. I was lonely, and I longed for a tight-knit group of friends who weren't going to be weirded out by my issues. And honestly, I felt unrecognizable. I felt like I had lost myself. So the emotion words, associated with that are, lonely, unhappy, unrecognizable, again, frustrated, depressed, anxious, those words, right? Those are the words that we should be using in the copy of our posts, okay? These are our secret weapon, okay? These are the words that people are going to say, oh my gosh, like I was depressed too. Oh my gosh, I have that same disease. Oh my gosh, I can connect with that because I was in that same place. These are going to help people to connect with you on a deeper level. They're going to be inspired by you because they've been there, or maybe they are there right now and they desperately need your help, you guys. So these keywords are going to be the words that we use to draw people in our posts. They're the golden nuggets. They're how people are going to connect with us, with who we are and where we came from. And this is going to help you build a reputation as somebody who can help, somebody who has answers. This is going to help people see that you used to be in the same place that they were, and now you have a solution, okay? They need to know that you were unhappy with your body. They need to know that you used to cry in a huddle on the floor of your closet because nothing fit you. They need to know that you used to torture yourself with thoughts of self-doubt, okay? They need to know that you struggled with that eating disorder, and because they're struggling with that same one, you guys. They need to know about that stuff that you are maybe a little bit scared to share about, because you know exactly how it feels to be where they are, and you've come out of it. Do you realize how powerful that is? Do you realize how few people can say that they have overcome those same things? It's huge. I have goosebumps right now thinking about it because, life is not perfect, and people need to know that they're not alone. I've been thinking a lot about my challenge group, and we are just there. Some of us are in here right now in this call, and man, it's such a tight-knit group of people right now. And people keep messaging me privately and saying, I've never had girlfriends. I always had guy friends because I didn't like the drama or whatever. And we need women who are going to be accepting and who are going to understand us. And we are those people. We're going to facilitate that. So something you got to love about women and about our brand, by the way, is that we love drama, right? We don't like to participate in it, but we love to watch it. I'm talking, Grey's Anatomy. I'm talking, again, The Walking Dead. I'm talking The Office. Who doesn't love the Jim and Pam love story, right? We don't like hearing about all the perfect stuff. We don't like to see the cookie cutter people living out their cookie cutter lives because that's not real and everybody knows it. And we like real. Perfection is super annoying. So, once you figure out that big piece of who you are, you'll have the tools that you need to write your meaningful posts, okay? And then within those meaningful posts, you're not being a Debbie Downer, right? You're being a vibrant and inspirational presence on your social media, who is showing them that, that you've overcome these things. So, and you're going to share with them that you have a plan for them to overcome their things. So again, we're still talking about the character here, right? Not every story has to be about Beachbody either. I'm going to share just a quick post with you. Let me see if I can drag it over. This is a post I did. One of the big parts of my story is that my husband and I had trouble getting pregnant and staying pregnant. And so this post here was a post that I did about my rainbow baby. So I did not mention Beachbody once in this post. I did talk about having a community. I did talk about, you know, the fact that I'm so thankful that we have suffered loss, because when I found out I was pregnant with Everett, my very first response was, oh my gosh, I have to take better care of my body. I have to eat better, and I have to, you know, keep exercising, and I can't let those thoughts of anxiety and terror overcome me. And I did talk about that, but I didn't really talk much about Beachbody in this post. And I cannot tell you, I think there are only like 8 or 9 comments. Oh, well, I guess there are like, I don't know, like 12 or so comments, which I guess is a lot, but there weren't that many comments on this, but I got so many private messages of people who were like, I am so glad you shared that, because it touched my heart, and this helped me to like heal a little bit from my loss. And this helped me to be a little bit braver, because miscarriage and loss is such a taboo subject. And people were thanking me for weeks about this post. And when it pops up in the timeline, people still message me about it. So consider the things in your story that are going to help people to connect with you, and maybe not even talk about Beachbody in that post. But there should usually be a call to action. So then there's this other post, for example. Let me drag this one over. Okay, so, you know, I talked about how I used to look in the mirror and loathe the person I saw. I talked about being ashamed of my struggles. I talked about feeling like I didn't belong. See all of those emotion words that I'm using? And then I talked about, you know, since that time I found a sisterhood. And then I don't know where you are in life, but I know that my tribe of ladies has made me feel strong. And then at the end of this post, there is a call to action, okay? I'm inviting them to learn more about this amazing coaching opportunity that has literally changed my life. So that's the character, you guys. That's a character. Figuring out who you are, figuring out what you have to offer to people. And then just really quick, we're going to talk about the problem and the solution. So the problem is the conflict that your character might have while I don't have the time. The problem is I can't afford a challenge pack. The time is I have kids, so I can't work out. I have no energy. I have work, and I work 12 hours a day. I'm uncertain. I'm afraid to fail, right? All of these things can be crafted in so many different ways, right? So be creative and be real. Share about how money was an issue for you and how you made it work. Share about how you have kids. You're sharing about how you had no energy and you did it anyways. This is a really, really great way to focus on those objections and to show people like, it's not an excuse for you because it's not an excuse for me, right? And finally, the solution. This is the inspiring part and the fun part, okay? This is truly awesome. You get to show people, you get to help people to see themselves in your post. You get to inspire them to take action, and you get to tell your story. So character, problem, and solution, okay? Those are the things that you kind of need to get a grasp on. And then here's how you actually craft your post, okay? This is the and, but, therefore method. So the and is the setup of your story. The but is the conflict. And the therefore is the resolution. So let's say like they don't have time to work out, okay? I could do a sweaty selfie with, I didn't want to do my workout, but I pressed play and I made it happen. Did you do your workout today? Right? I could do that and that would be fine. Like all of us have to post in a rush sometimes, right? And that's great. Like a half-hearted post is better than no post, right? But something more effective that would move someone emotionally and connect with something is using the and, but, therefore method. And I'm just including a little example. I don't even know if you can read that, but I'm going to read it for you. So it's 9:30. My baby's been sleeping for almost 2 hours. And here's my and, you guys. About 30 minutes ago, my fluffy bed with brand new sheets, aka heaven, was literally calling to me, like audibly. I started getting my pajamas out. I washed my face. I even said goodnight to my hubby. All I wanted was to crawl into my fluffy warm bed 2 hours early, or watch a movie, or eat a tasty snack, or. However, that's the but, okay? I used however, but it's the but. I haven't done my workout today, and I'm going to the beach next weekend. So I walked right by that fluffy bed, I grabbed my workout shoes, and I did my workout. And then the therefore, okay, I used now instead of therefore. I'm basking in the wonderful post-workout high and finishing up some stretches before crawling into that lovely warm bed of mine. It would have been easy to skip it. Glad I didn't. And then hashtag obsessed with this coach life. So you don't have to use the words and, but, or therefore. But I hope this shows you how to help people see themselves in your post. And obviously this one is kind of a shallow example. This is just about my workout. But there are definitely tons of examples that I can share with you. I mean, if you want me to, it's 9:27 already, but of how you moving post about your story and about the things that you have overcome. So I hope that this paired with also, always inviting relationship building behind the scenes. This is how to get people to take action and to choose you because you're their coach, right? You, before the beginning of time, you were going to be their coach, okay? And this is what's going to help them to see that. So not all posts have to be this thought out, but it is important to have meaningful posts and go beyond the Shakeology selfies and the sweaty workout selfies, the recipes, motivational quotes, that kind of stuff. Because every single other coach is already doing that stuff, you guys, every single other coach. But very, very few are sharing their stories. Very few are creating meaningful posts that people can appreciate, that people can relate to, that people can literally see themselves in your shoes and feel inspired by that because you overcame it and so can they, right? That is going to set you apart. So I have a couple calls to action. First of all, I want you to do a transformation post this week. I want you to use your emotion words. I want you to draw your ideal customer in. I want you to show them action is I want you to recreate the I didn't want to work out post with your own words, with your own voice, with your own perspective. And I'll share these slides with Laura so that she can post them in your team page and you can look back on them. And then the third one, I want you to share 3 things in your team page, so the Fit Buzz Squad or the Freedom Collective or whatever, and who you attract, okay? So, and then be awesome and be consistent this week. Excuse me. So that's it. I don't know. Do we have any time for questions, Laura?
That was so awesome. Yeah, I mean, if you have time for a couple questions, if anyone has questions or anything, that was such an awesome call. Oh my gosh, you guys, I took like 2 whole pages of notes. I'm just going to go over these notes again and again, but I just love that last breakdown, Kathryn, of the and, but, therefore. I just love the way, I love that. And I love not an excuse for you because it's not an excuse for me. I love that. Love that. But do you guys, does anybody have questions or anything? You guys can unmute yourselves. I've been muting everyone.
Yeah.
Well, if nobody has questions, we can jump off of here.
I'm frozen, I think.
Oh, am I frozen? I think we're having freezing. Am I back? I think I was
You're back.
going into robot mode for a minute there. But yeah, so I'm excited. So we'll be posting the slides in the team page. And yeah, and I'm excited to see everybody's call to action. So does anybody have questions or anything? All right. Well, thank you so much, Kathryn. This was such an awesome call. We really appreciate you coming out. And I will send you the link to the cloud recording so you can upload this one too. Okay? All right, ladies. You guys have a good night tonight, and we will see you next week.